I am an empirical economist and my primary research interest is international finance, especially the dynamics of international capital flows in emerging markets. Extant literature on capital flows has focused either on the role of external and domestic factors that drive capital flows or the macroeconomic consequences of volatile capital flows. There is paucity of research on whether the drivers of capital flows differ between advanced economies and emerging markets and between the various components of capital flows, that is portfolio banking and foreign direct investment flows. Moreover, there is limited empirical research on whether domestic institutional structures and central bank policies influence the sensitivity of capital flows to the external and domestic factors. I attempt to address these research gaps in my dissertation. The first essay of the dissertation examines the incidence of extreme capital flows in advanced and emerging markets. I create new datasets on different types of episodes based on the various components of capital flows, that is portfolio debt, portfolio equity, banking and FDI flows. In the second essay, I determine the drivers of extreme capital flows and how they have changed since the global financial crisis, how they differ between advanced and emerging markets and between the various components of capital flows. In the third essay, I model the entire probability distribution of short-term capital flows in emerging markets. This helps me investigate the role of the global financial system, domestic institutional structures, and policy actions in insulating emerging markets from large swings in capital flows during adverse global financial conditions. The findings in my dissertation have important policy implications. Since sharp movements in capital flows are associated with dangerous macroeconomic imbalances and they need to be dealt with appropriate policy tools. However, policy tools also have negative externalities and therefore policymakers must identify the source of capital flow volatility before taking any remedial action. My work also informs policymakers on the effectiveness of central bank policies and domestic institutional structures in mitigating volatile capital flows and also the spillover effects of policy actions. My other areas of research interest are empirical asset pricing and financial stability. In one of my co-authored papers, we develop a novel and superior predictor of equity risk premium for an emerging market like India. Our work addresses a major research gap because most studies on equity risk premium predictability have focused on developed markets and their findings may be less relevant for an emerging market equity risk premium. In another of my co-authored papers, we develop a novel rollover risk measure that captures the rollover risk of Indian shadow banks more comprehensively. We employ this measure to investigate the association of rollover risk with financial stability rather than the capital structure choice of firms, which is standard in the literature. In future, I see myself developing expertise in my areas of research interest with a combination of theoretical and empirical work. Thank you.